Greetings, everybody. This is Reverend Chris, and I am here with the first of a series of what I'm calling the Ascension Minutes. And this is devoted to tips and tidbits and my own experiences, what to expect, what you may be experiencing, and why. And all of this comes from my own journey. And all of us are not going through this journey at the same time. It's all coming in steps, in waves. So I am one of the vanguards of this wave. There were others before me, but I am one of the ones in the biggest wave right now that is going through to move through this and assist you in moving through it as well, but with more grace and ease, because all of us had to kind of do it on the fly without knowing what the heck was going on most of the time. We had no clue. So the Ascension Minutes are dedicated to helping you through. So let's get started. So what is today's focus? There are so many of them that we could work on, but the big one today that's coming to me, and I actually had a request about this, was about the electrical saunas that we live in. And literally, we are surrounded by electrical energies and the wave patterns and frequencies that electrical energies create all the time. And while Tesla may have been trying to create a way to transmit electrical current through the air, it's already here. We're already receiving electrical current as a result of the saunas that we live in. Think about it. Think of the wiring in your house, just this room. The ceiling, all of the walls all have electrical wiring going through them. Then we have all of the appliances and devices, the lights, the computers, the lamps, the stereos, all of the devices that we have that are running on electrical energy in our home, all of the appliances in our kitchen, our media devices like our TVs, our hair dryers, all of that. If it's plugged in or has to be plugged in, then it's carrying electrical energy. So what does that mean for us? And right now, I'm not even talking about 5G or Wi-Fi or, any of the other stuff. I'm talking about pure electrical energies. So one of the things that I've discovered on my journey is our pretty much open access to everything around us. Now, back when life was created on this planet, and in the primitive days, it was, and animals still operate this way, and in the deep 3D environment, it was necessary for us to be open fully to our environment, to fully sense everything that was going on, and to receive information from it all the time. But at those times, we were also very much grounded and connected to divine source and divine light and the things that replenish and feed and maintain and sustain our physical presence, both from the earth energies and divine energies. So we were connected in all ways with all of these things and sustained. We didn't have anything interfering with that to any great degree. Negative energies and dense energies, yes, can interfere with that. But other than that, we didn't have any environmental interference to any great degree with that. Now, we live in an environment where there is nothing but interference unless we go out into the wilds. You know, you go out into your backyard to get in contact with the ground and the dirt and nature and all of that stuff. What are you surrounded by there? You still have electrical wires running through. You probably have electrical devices and things hooked up somewhere in your yard. So unless you're going hiking in the mountains where there aren't any electrical devices or currents or wires running through or around, we still have access to and by these electrical energies. And what I noticed a while back is that we have become, in many cases, dependent on receiving these electrical energies from these artificial sources instead of receiving divine light and energy from divine sources to maintain us as we were supposed to be, and us creating our own electrical current and energies, which is how we were designed. Now we are becoming dependent and attached to these electrical energies. And that really disturbed me when I figured out that, my God, you know, I was attached to what? The wires in my wall, the refrigerator that was on the other side of the wall, currents running through the ceiling, that my physical body was literally connecting to them and feeding off energy from them. And it isn't just the energy dependence there, but we all know that it isn't just electrical energy. Electrical currents carry information. And they carry information. We don't know what's in that. You know, we don't know what's being carried through those electrical currents. So that started my journey to releasing these attachments. I mean, it took me a while working with Raphael and Sandalphon and Michael to fully disconnect me from these electrical sources, heal those connections, and move me back into alignment with and connection to our organically and divinely intended state of being, creating our own electrical currents and energies. It took a while to do that, but I've done it. And it made a difference, because one of the things that happens when we're receiving energy from all these other places, we also tend to disconnect. Not to mention that's part of the thing that happens when we get negative entities and energies and other things interfering with us. That also tends to disconnect us as part of its function and purpose. So that's the first thing I want to talk about and enlighten you to, is that you are more than likely, unless you're spending a lot of time, more time outside than you are in, if you're not working in an indoor environment and you're working in an outdoor environment where you're not exposed to a lot of electrical energy, then you may not have this problem. But most of the rest of us do, because we're either in offices or factories or wherever. We're working someplace that's indoors and surrounded by electrical energies. We're in our cars that are surrounded with electrical energies and running by them. We're in our homes. You know, that we're living in electrical saunas for at least 90% of our day. So we have to understand that this is something that wasn't intended to be. We weren't created divinely to access and use this energy. We were created divinely to create our own. And that's part of maintaining a healthy system for us. And it takes a while to disconnect. You can try doing it yourself. Ask the angels for help in disconnecting. But it takes disconnecting, healing the connections, bringing healing to everything that's sponsoring those connections, and all that's happened. So if you want my help with that, contact me. I'd be glad to help you do that, because I think it's something we all need to do. Because once we are electrically dependent, what are we also dependent on, right? What are we also vulnerable to? Digital and AI interference and connection, right? All of that coming to us. Unbeknownst to us most of the time. I'll guarantee you that a good portion of you who are watching me are digitally and AI infected with digital and AI elements floating around in your light bodies and influencing your functions and your mind and your thoughts. So be aware. Electronic disconnection is a really strong need for those of us on the ascension path. So I want to quickly, this is going longer than I intended it to for Ascension Minutes, but it's basically snippets, less time than my Chrysalis broadcasts. But so the next thing I want to discuss, having said that about the electrical energies, is 5G and 4G and all of that, and Wi-Fi in general. Now, Wi-Fi in general is really not a harmful energy to us. What my guides have shown me is that in case of 5G, that it isn't the 5G frequencies itself that are causing the issues that we are having. It is the increased electrical power and energy that is necessary to create and transmit these 5G Wi-Fi frequencies. It's also why they have a short range, because that electrical power only carries so far. The waves themselves should carry indefinitely, just like radio waves do. But so it's the electrical energies themselves and the increased amount of it that are causing the symptoms that people are having. How do I know this? Well, I noticed it. This is something, and this is how I became involved and aware of the electrical issues, is my bathroom backs onto the apartment laundry room, and the toilet wall backs onto, on the other side of it is the dryer and the dryer hookup, right, with its high voltage. And also in the bathroom, there is a pantry, a storage closet off of the bathroom that has an electrical junction box in it, right? So there's a lot of electrical current available to that room. And every morning I found that when I started living here, not long after, I started realizing that when I would go into the bathroom in the morning, that within 5 minutes of being there, if that, my nose would start to run. Just totally start running like crazy. And then things would get stuffed up and clogged up. And I would just be blowing my nose and thinking, what the heck is going on? It happened every day. And then I wised up, and my team finally said, look, this is what's going on. They gave me the heads up on it, is that it was the proximity to the electrical energies. And it was the pure electrical energies. It wasn't EMF, which is disruptive, yes. That's something we have to address also in our lives. But it wasn't EMF, it was the pure electrical energies coming in at that amplitude and wattage, and voltage that was on the other side of the wall that was impacting me that way. And also I would be affected by the junction box, which is probably when I would go sit out and do my meditation in the morning and my prayers, is not maybe 6 feet away from where I would sit on the couch in the other room. And I would find myself impacted negatively by that too. I would get negative interruption and attachments. A lot of times I thought it was entities coming through those attachments. Sometimes it is. Entities love electrical energy too. So they will come through those currents. Trust me. We get attacked all the time by our electrical devices because the entities love that energy and they come to us through it. You don't have to believe me. I'm just telling you the way it is. So what I wound up doing to protect myself from that was placing shielding around these items. In order to do that, it isn't the same as asking Michael to put a sphere of light around you. This is different. It has to be constructed in the causal planes, or designed in the causal, constructed in the etheric, and then brought down and installed and anchored into the physical plane to create a matrix, right? It's like a matrix structure that then attaches to the energetic matrix of these electrical devices and, sources. So I developed the ability and the structures in order to be able to do that. So once I had done that, and it really was amazing, it's immediately effective. Immediately. So I can't even, there we go. Trying to snap my fingers. I can't snap my fingers anymore. So it was immediately effective. As soon as I put the shields around these things, boom, I could feel all of this stuff that had been attached to me coming away. And when that happens, the wake-up call is like, whoa. So now, as a matter of everyday function, I have created and placed these electrical protections. Now it is both, it's an electrical protection that prevents stuff coming from these electrical items to me, and protects and prevents me from connecting to them. It's a two-way shield, and it also includes EMF protection. Now, on some of the items that I use regularly that are connected to the internet, I also include a two-way psychic protection. And I have developed this into a permanent structure that becomes permanently attached to and integrated to these items and objects and sources of electrical power and energy that are running through. Some of them can't be maintained permanently because of what they are, like the junction box. It's a little tough maintaining that as a permanent shield and protection, but I can set up other programs that will sustain those protections. Basically, they renew them anytime they become breached or diminished or in any way dismantled, that renews them. So I've done that, and I do that to everything in my house that runs on electrical energies. What a difference it makes. I also do that to my family's devices. My daughter-in-law has got to the point where every time she gets something new, you know, or they get new electrical devices in the house, she says, you know, Mom, would you put the protections around these things for us? I mean, even to the point where my grandson had one of these little glowworm plush toys when he was little that lit up and it like would sing a lullaby or something. I kept getting, and because of what I do, I'm connected, right? I always know, and Michael is always telling me when there's something attacking one of my family members or somebody that I am working with that needs help at that moment. And so I kept getting messages at night that my youngest grandson kept being under attack. And when I came to know, it was entities attracted by the battery and electrical power in this silly little glowworm thing that he had. So I had to put shields around it as well. So everything gets protected. I mean, you know, the phones, all permanent shielding. Tablets, permanent shielding. Laptop, permanent shielding. Modem, all the electrical devices, the lights, okay, the salt lamps, my electrical appliances, everything in the bathroom and bedroom, anything that has, you know, runs on electricity, whether it's battery operated or whether it's plugged in, because, and I've discovered also, the other thing that the entities love that I kept getting attacked from was the batteries in the smoke detectors in my apartment. So they love batteries. Some of you are going to think I'm nuts because I'm saying this, but I swear to you, it's true. And if my daughter didn't know it to be true from her own experience, she wouldn't be making sure that I'm protecting these things all the time for them. She literally got a new Fitbit for Christmas, and Christmas Day, after we got through with everything at lunch and we're kind of on to our next thing, she stopped me and she said, look, Mom, would you take and you put the protections around my Fitbit? She said as soon as she put it on, she could feel this not electrical, but this come through her, and felt this like really nasty energy. She said it faded, but she felt it as soon as she put it on. So I went and I did that. So they know, right? They become aware that this is happening. When you are exposed to it all the time, you become unaware. You're not immune. Some people think that. No, you become unaware. It's just something that happens all the time. It's like becoming nose blind. It's there, but you don't pay attention to it because it's there all the time. But when we have these things connected to us and interfering with our own systems, they're also interfering with our physical body and its systems, and our mind and its systems. So we need to get disconnected and shielded and protected from these things. If you are already an alchemist working in the causal planes, you can try and do this yourself. If you are not, and you want my assistance to do so, contact me through the email at the bottom underneath the video. And we can talk about what you need and what you have and when you have protected. Our smart meters need to be protected as well. We need to be protected from them. We're not protecting the items, we're protecting ourselves from all of the stuff coming from them that we weren't intended and created to handle and deal with and work within. So that's my Ascension Minute for today, even though it was 30 minutes. But we did go through a lot that had to be. It's shorter than usual. Hopefully the next ones that I do will run a little shorter than this, but it's still just a snippet of the things that you need to be aware of as you move through the ascension process that can be hindering or interfering with you or leading you astray, making you think that you've got this thing going on that isn't really happening, that is actually a matter of a function of the electronic interference. So it messes with our discernment of everything. So we need to clear this out so that we can move upward more clearly and uninterfered with. Blessings to you all. Thank you for joining me here today. And I hope that you got something out of this that will help you on your journey. Any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and connect with me. Either comments here under the video or email me with information, or you can contact me through, I think I have my Twitter address there, Twitter or Facebook Messenger. Either way, contact me anyway, and we will talk about your needs and how to accommodate them for yourself and for your home. Thank you. Have a good evening or day. Whatever it is you got going on there, have a good one. See you.